So growing up with EB is, I would say, quite a different experience than someone growing up that does not have EB. Your whole life is colored by being really careful at everything that you do. It's not until you have an awareness of everything around you and the effects of what can happen to you if you're not careful that you start getting a little bit better. I'm sure that once I started school, I realized that I was, falling down too much, getting hurt. And so I know that I began to be a lot more careful in the things that I did, walking carefully, everything, not running in the halls or wherever, just doing everything I can to just keep a conscious mind of being careful so I don't fall. Now, having said that, I mean, I'm a klutz. So I remember just taking some tumbles that just caused so much damage to my hands and my belly and knees, and it would just take so long to heal. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to do that again. But invariably, things like that just happen. You also kind of tend to not roughhouse or play sports or do things that purposely cause harm. I do remember wanting to ride a bike. My mom did not want me to ride a bike. So we compromised and she let me ride a bike with training wheels on the grass. That was really hard though, because it was hard to pedal and stay balanced, and the grass was not that flat. So eventually I did trek out onto the street and immediately took a left turn and fell over and got super hurt. So, I mean, I just had to maneuver my way through experiences like that. In elementary school, the kids just kind of say what they want to say and can be a little bit mean sometimes. But luckily, I had a brother that was also in elementary school, and he was giant size. I mean, by the time we were in junior high, he was like 6 feet tall. So nobody messed with him. And he was always my defender. His name is Hamilton. He still is my defender, actually. But even back then, people knew that if they messed with me, they were messing with him. So it slowed down later on in elementary school because they knew what would happen. He would go and he would, I think, yell and possibly a couple guys he had to punch. But so that took care of that. As you get older, also, going up through junior high, high school, you notice that, instead of people saying things, they just kind of stare or, look away from you and walk another, path around so they don't make eye contact, and just little things like that. And, the kids, will, also just kind of stay away so that they don't want to do things with you. But after a while, I think I just learned that if people are like that, then I don't really want to be around those kinds of people anyways. And I learned just to, clear out the noise of all this negativity that I was noticing around me at times. It's not until I got to where I truly did not care what people thought that I felt just so much happier, because I wasn't, you know, waiting for the next comment or awkward, eye contact or things like that. I would say up to high school, school was just really, really tough because I was absent a lot. I was absent because I didn't sleep during the night. I had lots of nights where I stayed up most of the night, and then my mom just let me sleep in the next day, or having been in pain a lot and I couldn't get it to stop. And also, the thing that really started as I got older was my throat getting hurt a lot. And so you couldn't eat, you'd have a blister, and it would last for days. You could barely swallow, and then the healing process after that. So, I mean, I there's no way I could go to school during all of that. And early on, there just was no treatment for getting your throat fixed, or we didn't know of one. Finally, when I was in high school, there was a place in Alabama that was referred to us where they could do dilations. It was just such a traumatic experience, though, just because by the time we were flying out there from all the way here to there, I was already super sick because I hadn't been eating, couldn't swallow. And then the actual surgery was very difficult. It was, it actually probably caused more damage than anything because I had to stay in the hospital for several days afterwards. And it was, they put me completely under, and then to fly back home and so weak and tired. So by then, I had already missed a bunch of school. So in high school, that was the huge thing, was just, you know, it was a plus that I got to go get my throat done, but I missed a lot of school, especially going into my senior year. So, I mean, that was kind of tough because my grades were just so bad. I really don't remember a whole lot of things from high school just because it was just a really, really hard time as far as my health was concerned. I had lost a bunch of weight. It was kind of tough. Now, having said that, I did get a little bit better from the dilatations. I was able to eat, but the dilatations themselves were just really taking a toll on me because they were just so hard. The aftermath was just so hard. And because of all of this, there was a question as to, was I going to go to college? Was I capable of going to college? How would I even keep up with my coursework if I wasn't feeling well? It's not like high school, you just call in sick. So the decision was just, try a little bit at a time, see what I can do, see how I get better, and move on from there. Eventually, I was able to go from a junior college and transfer to the university here, University of Texas at El Paso. I was able to do fine. By then, I was stabilized. I gained weight. I was healthier, and I was able to regularly take a full class load of all the courses that I needed to take. I even did, actually, for the first time in my life, I did better. I made Dean's List every semester while I was at university. So it was very exciting to be able to show that I was capable of doing well in school after all my years in public school where I, just struggled so much. And I would even say that that was a turning point when I took a turn from not being able to eat to getting better to, the dilatations kind of lasting a little bit longer to where I could gain some weight and get healthier. Because then I actually felt like I had my life back. At that point, my skin was doing just fine. It was just my throat. I couldn't get a hold of it. Once I graduated from college, I guess you could say that that was a really huge point where I was really proud of what I had accomplished, because I never in a million years thought I would be able to even go to college, much less graduate from college. But that fall afterwards, I was married. I already had a full-time teaching position. And so at that time I was, high as a kite. I had everything that I thought I wanted in my whole entire life, besides babies. And at that time I didn't know if that was a possibility. But I had started going to a church I really liked when I was 18. And so then my husband and I started going together and really enjoyed having our own place of worship and just being involved in that. I also began teaching the Sunday school at church. So that was neat too. So I would say that early on, once I was stabilized, I started doing much better when my throat got better and I felt like I had a relatively normal life. Started, working and tending to my house. And so, I mean, that was early on. I was 26 at that time. And so it was a good time. And it was also around that time where we found a different doctor that could do dilatations here in town. And it was just much less invasive. And and the aftermath was just minimal as far as recovery. So that really made a huge difference, as far as being able to take care of my health, because the healing process was so much easier. And so from then, that was 2006. I was able to get, pretty healthy at that time. I was, um, mid to the late 20s, and my skin was doing really good because I was finally being able to eat and eat well. I actually gained some weight, and so it was an exciting time around that time. And that I would say is my early, life, as far as growing up and getting, out of the house and starting off my career. I just wanted to say thank you for tuning in and watching these, videos. I know that, making connections any way possible, through all of these formats is a good thing. You can learn more about me. You can learn more about how EB does have hope. There is a way to maneuver through it. And so I hope that you can spread the word, and allow, my story to come into your life in order to help in any way possible. I'm here to just put the word out that there is treatment, there is hope, and there is a life. So I just want to say thank you so much. And, I hope that you can keep tuning in, and just get as much possible out of all of these videos, and connect. Let's just get connected. Thank you.